everyone, it's Carolyn, here to share more messages for your awakening and ascension journey. So today what I'm going to do is give you 2 more client conversations. I've done this previously for you, and I thought it would be fun to do it again. So I've gotten approval from both of these clients to do the clips that I'm going to share with you. So the first one, we're talking about his journey into what really has been a second awakening that can actually occur. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and set you up for that piece of the clip. The second piece is we're talking about time. This is with the woman that I had in the video last time. So I'll set those up for you before each of the clips. And each set is about probably 10 minutes long, but there's some really valid, powerful nuggets within each of the conversation about manifestation and time. And again, these are nuggets that you can take with you and use as you see fit for your own journey. I've always said what I offer you, I want you to be able to take away and see if it fits into what makes sense for you. Again, how I have journeyed through this process of awakening to a higher consciousness way of living and being is these little pieces that come together from all walks of life, all methods, all ways to me into my awareness, and then help kind of form, okay, they just said the fullness of the pie, not just the piece of the pie, but it's a piece of the pie, right? It's a piece of the puzzle to help build out the full puzzle of your journey and your understanding. So I hope you take something away from this that will help you understand both the concept of time and also manifestation. So I think there's some unique pieces in this, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I offer these regular videos and channels for you from either the Light Keepers, or now we're starting to do some different things with me just channeling readily, or conversations with clients, so that you can get more information to take away for your awakening and ascension journey. So I hope you enjoy this video today. So if you're interested in more information and some of the poetic kinds of support that I offer through the angelic beings, the Light Keepers, I have an email list that you can subscribe to below in the description box. Just check it out. Follow it. You'll get a free video on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness during these really energetic times, as I think you all know. And then it'll lead you to a weekly channel that I offer you for support. So again, thanks so much for joining me. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to start out with the fella who I have worked with quite regularly. So I think, as many of you know, I identify past lives for people that help you understand your current incarnation and help you understand the fullness of your soul journey. So he actually has been a philosopher and very significant thinker in many of his past lives. He is a deep thinker. He's one that I always really enjoy delving into conversations with. We've been working together for quite some time. And you'll get a flavor of him as well with some of his thought processes. And so what we're doing today is we hit upon the fact that he has actually just recently gone through a second awakening. And that does happen or can happen to us. It's almost like, it's kind of like a leveling up, but it's also can be a significant event that will open you up to like taking leaps and bounds forward. But again, it still unfolds over time, kind of shaken awake a second time. So many of us in our awakening journeys have had a major event that's rattled us one way or the other, woke us up, started that journey. And then what I have found is so many people do have kind of a second, I'll just call it a mini awakening. His was pretty powerful. He was actually in a car accident and had some head trauma, yet was extremely fortunate to come out perfectly fine. And honestly, in everything that he has said to me, probably shouldn't have. But this was a defining moment for him. And as we all know, the awakening journey is full of surprises. So we start off in this clip by talking about kind of where he's at with that, what's happened with that, and then I identify the awakening. But then we get into a really interesting conversation about manifestation. So I'm going to let you listen to it now, but then I'm going to offer some commentary at the end, as I usually do. Okay, enjoy this clip.
I felt it, and it was set. It wasn't no temporal thing. I was so different. From this, it's like a second reborn type thing for me. It just changed me inside so much.
Oh yeah. You had so basically what happened for you, and I'm finding more and more people having this, is almost like a second awakening journey. Does that make sense?
Second what?
Awakening journey.
Yeah, like a second stage or second. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Awakening.
Yes. Yeah. And we do have those on occasion. I mean, I think a lot of people do.
I became even more calm. That's what I realized.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about it now, I had a new calmness about me.
Oh, totally. I noticed that. Absolutely.
Right. And being okay is more. I'm not so concerned about if I'm doing something right or wrong, even for my spirit man and for my money man. I'll say it like that, my material world man. It's like, you get out of the space of trying to always be doing the right thing. Even we get in that space spiritually. Oh, what am I doing the spirituals? Whatever, meditate enough today. But it's like, what? Time is an illusion. So I don't know why, I know why, because of the conditioning, but, I would get I realized getting caught up in this daily thing or this daily stuff I must be doing.
Yes.
Yes. And more so now, it's like more I'm trusting like what I feel like doing.
Yes.
Like if I'm not going to make myself feel bad or low because I didn't walk on the earth the last few, in a month, and I know how good and beneficial it is for me to walk on the earth barefoot, and almost like I missed out on stuff or degrees of consciousness or wake or being spiritual or whatever because I didn't do what I did last month or I didn't meditate as much as I normally do. I mean, I can still, when I feel like I haven't been meditating enough, go ahead and meditate.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's not like you start putting yourself in these conditions and judgments of yourself, or you didn't do this or you weren't doing that, and when's the last time you're like, hold up, man, I'm supposed to be living.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm supposed to be living. You know?
Yep. Exactly. And I was going to say something and I just totally lost it. Oh well, it'll come back if it's important.
Right. Oh man, it's this journey.
Yeah, and so, this is so it feels like okay. They just said a wave, like you're on a wave of like they just said riding a new wave. They're showing you as a surfer on top of a wave. You're actually on top of the wave. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, feel it. Mm-hmm.
Whoa, you are really on top of the wave. Like you're not even, how they typically surf under the big waves. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not doing that. You're on top of this wave, like the big ones. You're surfing on top of it as it's rolling. Go figure. I don't even know if that's possible, but that's so. Whew, wow. And they're very much showing it's a huge wave. It's a rolling wave, and but you're just on it and you're just cruising. It's a beautiful metaphor for where you are presently, it feels like.
Yes.
Oh, you know what they just said? They just said they're trying to express this, so they just said flow. Like you're in flow. Are you in flow? You feeling it?
There it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there it is. I was just about to speak that, I have 808s a number, I see often about money coming and opportunities and stuff. And I know how I used to feel when big opportunities were on my doorstep, and I will elevate the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm actually exercising now, not having that same type of reaction because I have the opportunity with COVID, being first to market with this product, air filtration system that's ultraviolet and it's recommended by the CDC. 99.997% kills COVID, all these other germ stuff. It's tested, it's proven. It's awesome, right? And I don't let the potential of the money being made throw me into a frenzy.
Exactly.
And I don't no longer feel like I'm behind. on doing something, or like, oh, if I could be doing it. You know, just
yes. You know what I just heard?
Whatever the hell I feel like doing is what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it.
So I just heard no more chasing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right. You know, being more okay with whatever it is that I'm doing, because I'm telling you, I have so much abundance naturally at my feet.
Yeah.
Naturally. So it's no longer about the imagination of abundance. It's shown itself now.
Right.
And to be at ease. So like today, I don't think I'm not gonna do much of any type of work that has anything to do with me making money. It's just gotta, it just gotta flow. I can't feel like I have to be doing anything. That's
Totally.
not me.
Okay.
I don't care what I might. There's no missing. I don't care what I don't get.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to tell you this right now. That is exactly the trajectory that we are on in this journey. And I will use my example. So as you know, I post videos. Well, I was doing 3 a week, and then I've started doing 1 a week. But then in the last few months, I have let go of the idea that I must have 1 every week and not freak out that I haven't had the desire to do 1. Okay, right? So like I'm now a week and a day or 2 from having posted a video. I kind of know what I'm going to do, but I really don't have the desire to do it. I've had other things I've wanted to do, like start to plant my vegetable garden. And to your point, what's in front of me now, that can feel a little uneasy at first, but then it's all of a sudden it feels like freedom. And then then when you do put that energy into it, when you want to, that's when you imbue the right kind of energy into the thing you're creating, which then offers to everyone else. So consequently, what's happened for me is I always tied the creation of videos to, oh God, I have to do videos or people won't come my way to work with me. Well, guess what? That's not true. I have found that to be not true. They're just showing up and they're showing up magically. So to your point, that's an example of what you're talking about, how you'll see that manifest. We got about 5 more minutes, so keep going with what you were talking about.
Yeah. So, so it keeps me from the program of I must be doing something or a specific thing regarding a specific matter every day. So like right now, I have communications with people that I'm responding to that's already and things that are already being worked on. But as far as my own projects and business and things like that, I give myself a break I'm not trying to get in the flow of having to take a break. It's just about now. It's about what do I feel like. So the abundance vibration. Okay, if I'm wealthy, I don't have to be doing anything at any given time. It could be what I want to be doing, and anything structured or organized would be out of desire too. It'll be because I want to set a meeting for this time.
Yes.
It'll be because I want to meet with this person.
Completely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and you're so right. That's the trajectory, because abundance we can't move out of idea of scarcity. Like that's a scarce vibration. When we feel like we're either going to lose or not get enough or not get as much as we can if we're not doing a specific thing, because anything we're doing.
Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so they're giving me something that's powerful. I hope I can put it into words. They're talking about manifestation. They're saying this is all about abundance in general. Manifestation has something to do with this. So when we put out the thing that we want, we got to let it go and not focus on every single day that we have to do the thing to bring that in to our experience. We put the idea out there, we let that churn out in the universe. And when we are in flow in the now moment, focusing on the thing that we need to be doing or what that we want to be doing, that opens up the energetics to allow the manifestations to do its thing. And then they show up in our awareness in the present moment. I don't know if that's making sense to you, but that's why focusing on what you just said, the thing in front of you, what you want to be doing, not on chasing the manifestation, the thing, the money.
Yes.
Does that, so it combines. Oh my God, this is so important. Okay. like,
that's so powerful.
Yeah, it combines together. I wish I could put this into words better, but I think I'll be able to. But
I can feel it.
You get what I'm talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, I feel it. I know exactly what you're saying, because it's that energy has been in me, and to really allow, and again, the way we empower that and bring more of that of ourselves out is how we respond.
Yes.
To the opportunity to be anxious versus being calm, the opportunity to be in a frenzy versus being settled.
Because if you take the thing that you're thinking about in the future, which, remember, like we said, don't think about the future, put the manifestation out there, let it be. So if you bring that into your present moment and all you're doing is angsting, you're putting forced energy into that. And then you're also not in flow, and you're also not doing the thing you desire, because you pushed the thing you desire away from the worry and angst on the thing you want to manifest.
Yes.
So this is all combined. This is all connected. That's all connected. Abundance with the idea of how you manifest, and that process of manifesting, and about being in flow, and about doing the thing that's you desire in front of you, because it's all being taken care of for you through the desire manifestation process. But you can't sit and focus on it, angst over it. Yeah, we do things like we may do tasks or things like that, but it's going to be in flow on the things you want to do. Oh my God, this is super powerful. Does that make sense to you? Does that feel?
Oh, that right there is just that's just in my consciousness. Like, that's just a signature that I'm setting in me. Like I was saying, that's all present.
Oh my God, this is so powerful.
And, because the thing is, the ego makes you think of ways to make it come about. And that's unnecessary. I don't need to be thinking about how it's going to happen, or when will it happen, or I need to be thinking about what I need to do to make it happen.
No,
I need to be doing, because it might be, it's like that, and that's when we demean ourselves. Because let's say a person is at, let me go relax, go to the coffee shop, and they're sitting there reading a book and enjoying themselves. Then here comes the ego. You should be working on this and that for your project. They throw up the vision of seeing yourself doing this in the future and being here and blah, 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 blah. Now the person, like you said, you just jumped out of out of yourself. You jumped out of trust. And now you feel you need to be doing anything other than what you're doing at the very moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And they'll realize that reading that book with that coffee is actually helping your manifestation. Exactly.
That's totally it. Because you're in flow. So if we want to try to remember this, that's the flow on the stream. If you're in your canoe and you're flowing down the stream, you want to be in that flow, and you're reading your book and you're drinking your coffee. You're not throwing a big boulder in front of your canoe of, thinking you shouldn't be doing that and angsting over your manifestation. Instead, you're kicked back in your canoe or kayak, and you're flowing down the stream, reading your book and drinking your coffee. Does that make sense?
Right.
And it's allowing that flow to open up.
Man, it's powerful.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to talk about it at the end a bit. But, most of what you need to take away is in the actual clip. But I do want to make some comments. So this next piece, this is a woman that I had on previously. Very deep conversations that we've had over I want to say it's almost 2 years now we've been working together. And now it's almost like it's a conversation back and forth. It's almost like what we do is we delve into a greater understanding of some very, I'll just say even more esoteric, very deep subjects around the idea of who we are, what we are, the complexity of all that is out there, and what can be happening to our energetic being, what can be happening outside of what we see and experience in just this human form, because this is just a teeny part of it. So this has been her experience. We really talk all about that. But what we do this time is we get into this, again, these are short blips of things that came out of these sessions that I want to share with you. Not super long, but powerful. and may validate some of what you know. Just know this might not be new information. It just will validate what you already know. Or, there are pieces in here that aren't new information for lots of us, including myself. So that said, we talk about time and we talk about what that actually means and how time unfolds. And I guess I really don't need to say anymore. I'm just going to let you listen to the clip, and then I'm going to make some commentary afterwards. So I hope you enjoy this.
Of ascension, that almost like they go into, there might be like the ones that came here to do programming and certain types of energetics that would ascend with the planet first in order to almost prepare the way even into ascension. So I think there are ones that are doing kind of the boots on the ground, kind of really tough stuff.
Yes.
But then there's also the ones that are ascending first to almost prepare for the second group that's going to show up kind of in that.
Exactly. This is almost identical to what my metaphor has been, is just using different terms. And the on the ground part, yes. And then what they talked about was, okay, so the first group starting to fly, get their wings, and then of way showers or light workers. And then as we now keep getting to on the ground, getting to the next mountain that we climb, then there will be more that will join at the top and will either fly with us or we'll come back down the mountain to go do the ground game still. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I totally was taken off guard by the flight and them showing butterflies. And they were using wet wings as an example, because it's like, we're just learning to fly. And they showed some of them and I said this in the video, coming crashing to the ground, almost like hitting ground, but then being able to get their wings to fly back up. So it's learning how to fly.
Yes.
Yep. This is
learning how to fly. Yeah. Learning how to be in the new frequency, the new frequency, basically.
Yes. And to be able to hold it. So that's this continuous flight. You know what I'm saying? To be able to, because if, it's really interesting to use the monarch, because the monarch is just what a perfect example of a creature that is so delicate, but can fly from North America to South America and survive. Right.
I know. They're super fragile, but super resilient at the same time.
Exactly. And they talk about in the video about the channel being buffeted by the winds. And we'll still all have that stuff we have to deal with, in the day-to-day and our own work. But it's so interesting.
Okay. Yeah, this has been quite a journey for me so far. So it's I'm very excited to see this energy coming in right now.
Totally agree with you. They're saying coming out the other side. Yeah, that this is your. Oh, they just said glory days. Wow. Wow. Okay, they're showing this is so interesting. With all of the stuff with the vaccine and COVID and all the crap that's going on in the 3D, you turn on the news, you see what's going on, everything under the sun, right? But what they're showing me is that this is actually the beginning of the beautiful times, if that makes sense. I mean, they're showing sun and light and the entry point into something that we don't even understand. Like, it's kind of the whole upside down kind of thing, right? Huh.
Yeah.
And
we'll flip back, flip upright again. I've seen it. I don't know, maybe you'll see the same thing. It was when I was seeing these upside down kind of getting flipped. Okay, almost like the bright side getting flipped to the dark side. But then when I saw it come back, flip back, right side up, the whole thing turned into light.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
So it almost even looked like a yin and yang symbol when I saw the white go into the black, and the black was at the bottom. So it's almost like it flipped upside down, and the dark, so the light was in the dark, and then eventually we flipped it back right side up, and the whole thing was light.
Okay, so it's really interesting because as you're talking, they've been showing me, and they won't stop showing it to me. They keep saying sands of time, and they're showing an hourglass being flipped. And the sand is it's like starting over again. What does that mean? Sands of time. Oh,
I'm hoping when we flip it back right side up, where time might be taken out of the picture. So I'm beginning to feel more and more like we discussed this. And I was like, how are we going to operate without time? But I'm really beginning to feel more and more that time is such a burden.
I totally agree with you. Exactly. And you can start to see, I think you're probably at this place too, I know some other folks are, where you can start to see how it kind of can be without time, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like
it was just for me, at one time I was like, I don't even know how that would be possible. Right. But
me
now,
too.
Now I can. Yes. I'm starting to see glimpses of how it would be okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And especially when we start getting that confusion, like really bad confusion of what days it is, what particularly and how fast time's going and what month it is. And it doesn't feel like it's the month it should be, or the day it should be, or just everything. It's, and it's, if it gets all jumbled up into one big ball, then there is no time, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's
well, I think that our struggle and our confusion with time, when we're kind of we're like messing up the construct of time, and you're like, it is all of the constructs that have been built around time. So let's say if there is no more time, but let's say all these constructs that have been created around time, if those were to dissolve at the same rate, it would then we would see it's not necessary. Right. If one is just pulled out without the other, then that leaves us in the state of like, what the,
yes.
But there's all these constructs that maybe are feeding off the energy of this time element. And if that time element stops energizing these constructs and they fade at the same rate almost,
they're saying
it will actually be very easy for us to get out of that.
Yes. Okay. So what they're saying, and you're really onto something, they're saying the constructs collapse. Like they have to live on, they're trying to show me that it has to live on some kind of timeline. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And there's an energetic, I don't always want to say it's nefarious or it's malevolent, but I think they're always there. I believe that there is something about that is a diminishment to our divinity or to our potential. Okay. So
yes,
I think that.
Oh, I just heard entrapment. I just heard time is.
There we go.
Oh.
So I'm saying I want to pull the plug on where the energy, and the sad thing about it is I think the plug, the energizing, is actually a revert of our own energy into the systems that are actually entrapping us, which is, crazy business. But it's like getting caught caging ourselves in a way. Yeah. But it's like pull the plug on the mechanism that is redirecting our divine light energy into the systems of time.
Yes, completely. This is what I'm getting. I've never had this conversation before. This makes so much sense. And they're very much validating this for us. It's like they're showing a pinpoint. Like, okay, when we have time, there's all this big, how do I want to say this? Like when time starts collapsing and time doesn't exist, they're showing this big ball or this circle, and then everything collapsing into a pinpoint. And that's everything else comes with it, if that makes sense. The constructs and everything, because the constructs we create in humankind all have to do with time. I mean, they have to have some time, a time element or timeline. So therefore, what they're trying to say to me is, I'm just going to say it without trying to figure it out, is that there's some level of being able to create more out of just having the pinpoint of time versus having the expansiveness of timelines.
Yes.
And you then, like, we've kind of lost our ability to manifest and create in the way that we used to because we're so hung up on time. I don't know what that even means, what I just said, but does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like time is like a ball and chain around our ankle.
Exactly. Yes.
Sadly. And it is not necessary. It is just such a massively oppressive construct that we almost don't know in this level of consciousness how we would live without it. But it actually would be very simple for us.
Very simple.
And I think there would be a very smooth and easy remembrance.
I agree.
Once that was gone. But the way I look at it is these constructs, they coexist with that energy.
Right.
And so it's like, well, you can't have one without the other. So when you wipe one out, the constructs go with
Exactly.
it.
That's it. It's, okay. So they're showing a pulling in on. They're showing a chain, an iron chain. Okay, you know how like if you throw something down a well and the chain goes, you know what I'm saying? Everything's pulling into it. That's what they're showing. That the chain keeps going in, down into the time. So all those constructs are that chain that's sitting out there, right? And those all get pulled in and collapsed in on. And they're talking about, God, this is so interesting. The actual concept of time, it was malevolently created. Does that make sense?
What was the last three? Malevolently
created. Like it was designed to they just said encapsulate us into a world that was not intended for us, because it doesn't allow freedom.
Wrote something down that made me think of this.
Yeah, because it doesn't allow for freedom. The fact that we have time doesn't allow for the freedom that we have.
So this is a concept that has been coming to me, and I'm like, I feel that this is true. There is something that's actually holding us out of an organic timeline that is available to us if we. But there's these little like tricks that are being done that it's holding us out of the organic timeline.
Yes.
And like the time, like for me, I had an experience with something they were calling a time warp. Which I felt like time was standing still. Where's my notebook? Oh crud! I wrote it down. I won't be able to find it, of course.
No. I know what you're talking about. I mean, I get that. Yeah.
Oh
my God.
Also, shoot. Well, I can't find it. Time warp or time standing still, or let's see here. Oh wait a minute here. A time loop. There's a time loop. And I think that is what that is. There's a time, it's like a looping system.
Meaning what was created to entrap us?
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yes. They just said cyclical over and over again. Okay, they're showing, a loop. Yes, that's what they're showing, a loop. So basically, you know what?
So it's in repetition. So it's almost like it was very obvious for me. I was like, we've already done this, like even as I was going through it with like some of the corrections, I'm like, okay, I figured out how I got here. Now we got to, we corrected it. And then like the next day or even the next hour, I like felt like I was right back where I was before. I'm like, what happened? What happened to all of our corrections? Where I was having conversations with my team or something, and I would talk to them again, and I had no clue what I was talking about. They didn't retain what we had just done.
Yeah, they are saying to me, ascension is actually escaping time. What the time loop? Because that they said to me as you were talking, why do you think history repeats itself?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to make a couple comments. And potentially additional information may come through, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time deciphering this because it was pretty obvious what we were talking about in each of these. But the idea of manifestation and then being in flow, they're linked. Okay, now that might seem obvious to you. However, I don't know if we always put that together. So when we think about the idea of manifestation, as we were identifying in this piece of the video, in this clip, what we have is the idea of things that we wish for and want and desire. But what we do in humankind is we so often just work super hard at, the project plan behind that, follow steps every step of the way, set that goal and try to get the thing, right? We don't think about it being an energetic event at all right? Well, as we start going through this process, we start realizing things just start to kind of happen, like the universe will work in our favor. So as we start putting out things we desire, things we hope for, things we wish for, it's really about gently doing that, like having that desire and passion and putting that out there as a thought form, all right? And then let it go. Kind of like, okay, so they're showing now. Oh, they're showing a smoke. They just said smoke signal. Oh, that's fascinating. To the universe. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have chills. Smoke signal to the universe. They're showing smoke signals. Woo, woo. And then the smoke signal, right, dissipates. But it's a smoke signal to the universe. This is what Carolyn wants to manifest. And then what we do is we let it go. So letting that go rather than overthinking and angsting. And, we do this though, when we have this manifestation, even as we're going through this process and we understand better, we'll pull it back into our thinking mind, our ego mind that will then angst over it, right? Well, what do? We throw the boulder on the stream that then doesn't help us stay in flow. The point of this is let those manifestations go, smoke signals, think smoke signals, all right? You're sending the message to the universe, you're done. Now you go back into your day-to-day flow. Doing the things that keep you in flow. Not worried about the future, thinking about only what's happening now. Doing all the practices, the meditations, all the self-care, keeping you in flow. That ego mind, all right? Meditation helps you tamp that down. Center yourself so that you then are able to deal with what is in front of you. All right. And then what's going to happen down the road. And, some of these manifestations, in my cases that I've shown, that I've talked to you about, they've taken years. Others happen pretty quickly. But it's about letting it go. Don't think about it all the time, right? So what starts to happen is all you do is focus on flow, attaining flow in your journey. Pieces of things start coming your way that then line up to help you towards your manifestation. You may not even understand that you're working towards your manifestation. And that's great. That's actually better because then you don't have the chance to put human angst and energy toward the thing that you want, which then can so block it. I'm a master at this. I am a master at, first of all, making up stories and then creating around that something that kind of becomes a belief. And these are small things. They're day-to-day things. A lot of them have to do for me with personal relationships. And I'll create a story. Well, if I'm creating that story in my mind, that's a thought form, okay? Am I going to create that and manifest that? Well, potentially, but that's not the manifestation I want out of those personal relationships. So what happens then as I am sitting there making up my story, angsting about the situation or maybe the manifestation I want, I create all these energetic intertwining pathways that gunk up the main current. They just showed me a current, the main current to your manifestation. So if we clear out that main current and we keep ourselves in a pure space the best we can as a human with all the things that we know we need to do, which is most importantly meditation, therein lies the way to open the door to flow, all right? Flow to our manifestation. And then what occurs is the thing in front of us each day that we need to do. And I don't mean just toward that manifestation, but don't make up stories like I do, right? And then gunk up the lines to what I really want out of, in my example, the relationship potentially. So I hope that's helpful to you in some way and is not just overly confusing, but I think you'll see that in your own journey. So again, it's a powerful process to think about the two linked and knowing that the reason we want to stay in flow, the reason we want to do meditation, the reason we want to do that self-care is to be able to align ourselves with the energies of the universe that then allow us to flow, that then allow us to see our manifestations, or I should say, to see our desires, our wishes be fulfilled. All right. Now, there's other intricacies around manifesting, but in general, what we're trying to say here is this is a way, well, basically don't angst over manifestation in general. Don't want the thing so badly that you're like, oh, the universe has to provide this to me. Maybe it's not meant for you. But in general, what I'm trying to express here to you is this idea of how to allow for the things that are meant to come your way, that you also wish to create, because we are creators, and it's all about putting that out there, the smoke signal out there, letting it dissipate into the universe, bringing yourself back in day to day, and being, like that Buddha, day to day with respect to the focusing on that now moment and doing your practices. So I hope that is helpful in adding something to what you already understand. Again, I try to simplify things. They always try to simplify things. We don't try to put on the 10,000 little things that can impact this. But in general, I think this can help us all see how manifesting is linked into flow and how we live our day to day. So as we think about time, which was the second clip that we talked about. There's not really a lot more I want to say here because I think that really made its point. But I do want to say I find it interesting that this conversation came up, and I'm doing this video now because I know so many people, including myself, time is becoming very elusive. And in that clip, as you may recall, we talked about, you can kind of see how time doesn't exist. What? I would never have said that 4 or 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, probably 2 years ago. What does that even mean? What's that even look like? What's that even feel like? We're starting to be able to feel, and I think many of you know this, that time is, they just said deconstructing. Did we say that in the clip? Okay, they're repeating deconstructing over and over to allow greater flow into your being. Because time constrains flow. Okay, this actually ties to the first clip. Time constrains flow. The constructs created in humankind can only exist in time, in a timeline fashion. So now what they're showing is all this crumbling of the constructs of our systems, our processes, all these huge institutions that have been created through the idea of time crumbling. We've talked about how all the old antiquated ways are going to come tumbling down. They just said, but this is linked to the idea of time. Okay, this gets interesting now, right? This is linked to the idea of time collapsing. Okay, and then they're getting into the whole idea of different timelines, right? But, okay, so as time, they just said becomes etheric to the human, it's a part of the system of collapse that gets us out of, they just said the matrix. Oh my God, I have so many chills. I don't even know what that means. I have so many chills. Okay, I don't even know what I just said. Some of you are probably going to be able to comment on this because now Carolyn's human mind wants to get going on this, but I'm not going to let that happen. They're just talking about breaking free out of the constructs because time is part of what has been created to, oh my God, enslave us. Okay, wow, this is really interesting. Okay, so no wonder, this is what they're saying to me, no wonder we are all starting to feel this strange time thing happening to us. Can't tell the day, can't tell the time, don't know, all of a sudden the day's gone. Wait, was it Sunday? No, it's Wednesday. I mean, literally, it's that bad. It's that bad. What, the months are flying by. What? It's already middle of April. How can that possibly be? On and on and on, right? Or you feel it's like 4 months ago to make it more sense if it was, December of 2020 rather than April of 2021 or whatever. But what they're saying is this all has to do, this is connected to this, they just said the word dissolving of time. And then they're showing off to my sides, the left and the right, that literally turning to dust our constructs and our belief systems. Because when you don't have time that has entrapped us and enslaved us, you can't build the belief systems around it or within it. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. I kind of feel like I could go on and on, but this video is probably long enough. And plus it'll leave us all with something to ponder, that's for sure. I'm going to be thinking about this for a while. So I just want to thank you for joining me today. And I hope to do more of these in the future because I really have some amazing clients who are really lovely to talk to, very deep, particularly the ones I've been working with for some time. We bring through a lot of information. The more I do sessions with an individual, the deeper these become, helping them along in their journey. Unfolding new information too, and I always learn in them as well. So to remind you, purplerainhealing.com is where I have all of my services. I would love to work with you. Mentoring is what I do with the clients that you actually heard today. That's one of my premier services where I help you through your ascension and awakening journey on a regular basis. I do distance energy healing and channeling, and I channel throughout all of my services. So check out purplerainhealing.com. I would love to work with you. I also offer a 15-minute free consultation to talk about maybe what might work for you. So again, I thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.